6 Strategies for Leading Through Uncertainty by Zucker and Darin Rowell. The onset of the global pandemic in 2020 dispelled any remaining doubts about how crucial it is for a leader to be able to manage change, uncertainty, and disruption. We can't avoid ever-increasing complexity, even though we all aspire to prevent future pandemics we work with often report feeling stuck, ill-equipped, or overwhelmed as they face the growing challenges of their roles. Understandably, it's easy to feel this way when the complexity of our world has surpassed our complexity of mind, as Robert Keegan and Lisa Leahy describe in their book, Immunity to Change. To put this in concrete terms, computers increased more than 1 trillion-fold since the mid-1950s, but our brains remain unchanged. In order to effectively lead others in increasing complexity, leaders must first learn to lead themselves. Although each leader faces their own unique circumstances, we have observed 6 strategies that accelerate your ability to continually learn, navigate progressively more complex challenges. Embrace the discomfort of not knowing. Throughout our careers, we are conditioned to come up with the answer, as in a single, definitive, correct answer. Given that our brains are hardwired to see uncertainty as a risk or threat, it's physiologically normal to feel stress when faced with unfamiliar situations. This is especially true for high achievers who have built their career on knowing or finding the right answer. Although avoiding these unpleasant feelings is a natural human tendency, it can become a significant barrier to learning, future growth, and ultimately performance. Rather than avoid these feelings, we must learn to acknowledge and embrace the discomfort as an expected learning process. As described by Satya Nadella, CEO of Microsoft, leaders must shift from a know-it-all to learn-it-all mindset. This shift in mindset can, itself, help ease the discomfort by taking the pressure off you to have all the answers. Distinguish between complicated and complex. Most of us use the terms complex and complicated when, in fact, they represent critically different circumstances. For example, tax law is complicated, meaning it is highly technical in nature and difficult to understand, but you can break the problem down into discrete parts, consult with an expert, or several, and generally find a solution. Conversely, complex challenge interdependent elements, some of which may be unknown and may change over time in unpredictable ways. In addition, an action or change in one dimension can result in disproportionate and unforeseen outcomes. As an example, foreign policy and climate change are complex challenges. While there may be no shortage of opinions on these topics, solutions. As a result, solutions to complex challenges typically emerge through trial and error and require the willingness, humility, and ability to act, learn, and adapt. Let go of perfectionism. In a complex environment, the context is continually shifting, thus, aiming for perfection is futile. Instead, expect mistakes and recognize that you can continually correct as needed. For high achievers, prone to perfectionism, egos and desired identities, for example of being successful or being the expert, can get in the way. To let go of perfectionism, identify and acknowledge your specific core fears that are triggered, such as I'll fail or I'll make the wrong decision. Underlying these fears is an often implicit and unexamined assumption that if any of these fears come to fruition, I wouldn't be able to recover from it. We've worked with several clients over the years to help them actively debunk these assumptions by having them talk with others they respect about the role of mistakes or failure in their. They hear a lot about learning, new opportunities, and professional growth that emerged as a result, but never the career-ending catastrophes that they imagine. Loosening the grip of these assumptions over time can allow you to let go of perfectionism and accept that mistakes and failure are to be expected along the way. Resist oversimplifications and quick conclusions. It's tempting to oversimplify complex challenges so that they seem less daunting. For example, breaking a challenge into its respective components can help you to feel like you have a greater command of the challenge at hand, but it can also narrow your view and obscure critical interdependencies, leading to a false sense of security. Likewise, drawing analogies from in the past can be useful, but it can also lead you to miss the unique nuances of the present challenge. Many high achievers have a bias for action and become quickly frustrated when facing challenges that don't present an evident solution and clear course of action. Instead of caving to the desire for quick resolution, leaders must learn to balance their disciplined approach to understanding both the core problem and their own biases. For example, hiring a day leader at an organization by itself is insufficient if more systemic issues like outdated recruiting, promotion and development, and compensation practices go unaddressed. Don't go it alone. Many of the leaders we work with are isolated as they face the continuous change and uncertainty in the challenges they face. Part of their sense of isolation comes from an implicit belief that they need to solve all the issues themselves. As the complexity and volume of our workload increases, our natural tendency is to double down on our focus and individual efforts. Relatively short-term challenges with known solutions, this can be an effective strategy. However, when facing challenges where the full scope of issues and interdependencies, let alone solutions, are unclear, it can be a disaster. Instead, it is when it's most important to cultivate the practice of intentionally reaching out to your network and beyond for insight. There is an inherent limit to what any of us can know and our capacity to view the world objectively in any given circumstance. Yet, we can exponentially expand our knowledge and perspective by cultivating and connecting with a network of peers and colleagues, each with their own set of experiences and perspectives. As stated by one CEO client, when I'm trying to flex issue, the first thing I do is reach out to people whose opinion I value and whose experience is in some ways different from mine. I want to know how they are looking at the situation. What's their point of view? Who else should I talk to? He went on to explain, it's not so much that I expect them to have an answer, as I want to plug into their thinking and their sources out. Leaders often get stuck in the challenges they face because they are too immersed in them. Zooming out or moving from the dance floor to the balcony, as described by Ron Heifetz, Marty Linksey, and Alexander Grashow in The Practice of Adaptive Leadership, provides you with a broader perspective and a systemic view of the issues, and can shine a light on unexamined as not be visible. From this balcony or elevated vantage point, interdependencies and larger patterns become observable, potentially revealing unforeseen obstacles and new solutions. This more holistic perspective allows for greater adaptability and course correction when needed. Making a regular practice of conducting this dance floor balcony sheer capacity to see the bigger picture and become more agile. It seems that any given week provides ample reminders that, as leaders, we cannot control the degree of change, uncertainty, and complexity we face. However, adopting the strategies above can improve our ability to continually learn, grow, and more effectively navigate the of our world. Thank you for watching and listening. To receive update on our new video or audio, kindly click on subscribe button and extend your kindness by sharing this with someone. This is produced by Lekanalini Media.